Agents, if you were letting the inspection period turn into round 2 of negotiations, you are not protecting your seller. And today, we are gonna fix that. Here's what most agents do. They list the home, it goes on MLS, and then eventually at some point, hopefully, you get an offer. You could spend hours and sometimes days negotiating that offer, negotiating the terms, the dates, the price, which is usually the big thing. And honestly, that is just the market we're in right now. Buyers want a deal, and they will try to hammer you on price. Sorry to say it, sellers, but it's the truth. But it's all relative. Assuming you are going to buy after you sell, you will be doing the exact same thing. So you finally go under contract with these buyers. All parties have agreed on price. You can breathe a sigh of relief. Then the buyer conducts their home inspection. And you brace yourself, because here comes the list, a full line item repair list. And just like that, the negotiation starts all over again. That is not part of the deal. This is reopening the deal, all because this wasn't controlled upfront. So what if you could eliminate that second negotiation entirely? What if the inspection was already handled before you ever even hit the market? Here's what a proactive seller and a proactive agent does instead. Step 1, order all the major home inspections before the home is listed. And yes, this is a cost borne by the seller, but it could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in the long run. But here's the thing, as a homeowner, you should really be keeping up with the maintenance of your home anyway. And you would want the same done on the next home that you're gonna purchase, right? And when I say major inspections, that could be multiple home inspections, such as the general home inspection, looking at the exterior of the home and inside the home, a septic inspection. So if you have a septic tank on your property and you don't have a connection to the municipality sewer system, usually you'll have a septic tank. So that's a whole other inspection. And then there's other inspections that might be required depending on the type of property that you have. Just cover all of your bases. Step 2, prepare a list of full disclosures before you go on the market. That way buyers know exactly what they're walking into ahead of time. No surprises, no shock, no reason to walk. How old is the roof? How does the attic look? Is there signs of moisture, mold? Are the tiles behind the bathtub feeling spongy? Is there any moisture detected? Get ahead of all of those questions, because a buyer's inspector is going to be looking for all of those things. Signs of moisture, poor ventilation, mold, old roof, you name it. They're going to expose any issues that the house has. Step 3, and this is where it gets really powerful. Once you've had a thorough home inspection and you have a full scope of any problems with your home, tackle those issues before they become another negotiation tactic used against you. You don't want to have to do a laundry list of items for a buyer before completion. You also don't want to potentially negotiate even more off your purchase price because of issues that have been uncovered. Fix what requires attention, and maybe tackle it from the highest priority down to medium priority. Because a buyer who sees a list of problems during their due diligence period can do one of two things. Use it to hammer the purchase price down, or they might get spooked and walk away entirely and not even give you an opportunity to fix those items, even if you had no problem fixing everything. They might just get spooked. And here's something else worth considering. Leaving issues like water damage, mold, or small leaks does not only cost you during negotiations with a buyer, but the longer those things sit unresolved, the bigger those problems could become down the road. So the moment you discover that those issues are happening in your home, tackle them. These things could get worse, they can cause more damage, and become way more expensive to remediate. Not to mention, it can be a major health concern. Mold is no joke, so you don't want to just leave those things. And here's the hard truth. If one buyer walks away because of the home inspection, the next buyer will likely do the same thing. So don't think you're gonna fool anyone. In this market especially, buyers are doing home inspections. Buyers are picky, and they have every right to be, and so can you when you become a buyer on your next home. But as a seller, don't ignore these issues. So before you list, get the home inspection. And I want to be clear, I'm mainly talking about single-family homes. As a homeowner of a single-family home, you are responsible for significantly more than a strata homeowner. If it's beyond the interior walls, that would be a strata issue. So as a single-family homeowner, everything is your issue. And in a big home, it's likely that there are a couple things here and there that need attention. You aren't going to know until a home inspection happens. Find out what a buyer could potentially find before they find it. And also fix what makes sense. Again, I mentioned earlier, focus on high priority items, maybe some big ticket items, because those are usually what is the most alarming to buyers. If there's issues with the roof, mold, leaks, fix what makes sense, disclose the rest, and show up to the market as a proactive, easy to deal with seller that every buyer wants to work with. This protects your price, it protects your timeline, and it keeps you from getting dragged into a second negotiation you didn't sign up for in the first place. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit subscribe. Drop a comment below if you've experienced a buyer walking away from your sale because of something in the home inspection, or if you were a buyer who walked away because of a home inspection. I'd love to hear your story. I've only experienced it maybe a handful of times in my career. Right now, it seems as though most sellers are willing to work with buyers to make the deal come together, whether that be agreeing to the list of repair items or maybe narrowing it down and offering to do a few things, and both parties are happy with that. I'm Courtney Ruff. I am a realtor in South Delta, and I also service the Fraser Valley. If you have any questions, real estate related, anything at all, please reach out. I would love to chat.